Okay, recording has started. And welcome everyone. Welcome to Buddy's online Toastmasters meeting. Please note that this meeting will be recorded and shared amongst members for study and self-reflection. Some parts of it may be used for promotional material later. In order to have a smooth meeting, please note some rules. Please put yourself on mute when you are not speaking. Be attentive throughout the meeting and support the speaker with your warm smile and claps. Have a great meeting ahead. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Lincoln. Fellow members, welcome to Buddies. Today, we are going to have Speech-a-thon. Slightly different format because we are going to accommodate 5 speakers who will be speaking, and we will have table topics. We will not have verbal evaluation, but the evaluators will send their evaluations to the speakers. I was always wondering, for our meeting, there are many Toastmasters who want to speak in table topics, and we are challenged because of time. So I'm going to request our VP Education, like a speech-a-thon, can we find once in a quarter table topics marathon so that everyone have a chance to attend the table topics, because every week I'm seeing, I want to speak. So I'm going to request our VP Education to think about it and come up with a plan to have one table topics marathon once in a quarter or once in 2 months so that people can participate in table topics. Everyone can be accommodated in that. Just a thought that I am sharing with all the members. Having said that, I'm going to call our immediate past president to make a couple of announcements about the election. Our period will be shortly over and we need fresh leaders to take this Buddies to the next level. Over to you, Toastmaster Bruce.
Thank you very much, Kenan, President. And I'm very happy because the new Toastmaster year is coming and we will need a new team to carry on the duties of our club and to move forward. And my plan is that because we still have 2 months to prepare, and I plan to have the election after 2 weeks. It will be May 8th. And then after election, you can also talk to members, to talk to someone in the club to vote for you, that you can prove that you have the ability, right, to lead the club. And that will be 3 weeks. We have another 3 weeks to collect all the votes. And then I will announce the result by the end of May. It will be May 29th. So totally we have 5 weeks. And I also, tomorrow, I will just send out an email, and also I will just post some materials about the duties of the officer of the EC team. And you will know what work you need to do as an officer. And also, if you want to know the specific duty, you can talk to the current officer. Like if you want to be president, right? Talk to Kenan, right? Just like, I want to president, what I should do, right? And Kenan can give you some suggestions. And I will also share some files, and then you can check the duties of your role. But I also hope, because I had experience that, sometimes some members are very busy. And I hope you really can make your commitment. Like if I am a officer, I will be in the meeting at least, maybe 70 or 80% of the meetings, because totally 51 meetings in a year, right? I hope you can join at least 80%. Yeah, that's the minimum, requirement for me. But I hope, you can serve the club better, And also you can practice your leadership, build a connection with all the members. I think, yeah, if you really take the role, you will grow faster. So that's it. And if you are interested, you can send your name to me, or you can just tell me on the meeting at May 8th, the election day. But I hope I can get your names beforehand so I can prepare. And also for the rules, I will give you a brief introduction. And if only one people competing with one role, then this person doesn't need any mini speech to just converse, like, okay, I'm good or something. But if, you know, two more people will compete for the same role, same office role, then you have to make a mini speech and let the members to choose who they support. Okay, very simple. Okay, and if you have any questions, just ask me. Okay, get to me after the meeting. Okay, back to you, Ken.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bruce. Thanks for leading the elections so that we get new blood to lead our club. This is one of the greatest club. I want to get this momentum going. We need to be once again, we want to make sure that every members are respected, and we want to continuously make sure that we are a president distinguished club. Having said that, I am going to now welcome our Toastmaster of the day to lead this meeting. And today, as I mentioned to you, it is going to be a speech-a-thon. I'm going to call Toastmaster Claude to lead today's meeting. Over to you, Claude.
Thank you so much, Kanan, distinguished Toastmaster and guests. I'm Claude, your Toastmaster of the day. Today's meeting theme is self-discipline and success. And Aristotle said, a philosopher said that the great question that each of us must answer is, how shall we live in order to be happy? Begin with your own personal definition. How do you define success? If your business, work, and career were ideal in everyday way, what would they look like? What will you be doing? What kind of company will you work for? What position will you have? How much money will you earn? So on and so on. A popular definition of success is being able to live your life in your own way, doing only those things that you want to do with the people who you choose in the situation you desire. In each case, when you begin to define what success means to you, you can immediately see things that you should be doing more of or less of in order to begin creating your ideal life. And the biggest thing that holds you back from moving in the direction of your dreams is usually your favorite excuse and lack of self-discipline. It is not that you don't know what to do, but rather that you don't have the discipline to make yourself to do what you should do, whether you feel like it or not. Starting with nothing, hard work is the key. The indispensable requirement for hard work is self-discipline. Success is possible only when you can overcome the natural tendency to cut corners and take the easy way. Lasting success is possible only when you can discipline yourself to work hard with a long time. With that, let us meet our today's meeting facilitator. I will start by calling our today's timer, who is On. Please welcome On to explain the content of his role. Ton, over to you.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Claude. Hello, everyone. I'm Hon. I'm the timer today, so I'll help to keep time. Why is it important to keep time? It's important to keep time because we don't want people to speak too long, and because it might become boring. People might fall asleep. And we don't want people to talk for too short a time as well, because you don't really get your message across. And we come here to learn to speak, and you become a better speaker when you talk a little bit more. And plus, when you add it all together, it helps for the structure of the meeting and it makes it just go smoothly. So what I'm going to do as the timer when we do speeches, say for typically we will have a 5 to 7 minute speech. I'm going to help by just changing the colors up here on my screen. So when a 5 to 7 minute speech gets to 5 minutes, I'm going to put green up here. When it gets to 6 minutes, I'll make it amber. And when it's red, I will make it red. So thank you very much for letting me introduce my role. Back to you, Cloud.
Thank you so much, On. So you ask us to be concise and precise when talking and deliver timely our speech. Our next facilitator is our accountant, who is Karim. So please welcome Karim. I hope I am spelling well your name. So sorry if it is not the case.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karen, and as the counter, my job is to note any overused words, overlong pauses, and filler words such as well, so, and so on. During the evaluation section of our meeting, I'll be presenting the report with my findings. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Karine. Our next facilitator is our grammarian, our VP Education. Welcome, Dennis, please. Dennis, over to you.
Thank you, Claude. Can you please remind me what's my what am I supposed to do now? You're on mute.
Nicole. Nicole is the grammarian. Please.
Oh, Nicole. Okay, got it.
Nicole, let us welcome Nicole. Yeah, this is Nicole. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, it was my mistake. So let us welcome Nicole.
Hi, I was very confused for a moment. I apologize for not turning on my camera. I'm having some technical difficulties. But welcome everyone. My name is Nicole Lopez and I'll be your grammarian for today's meeting. What that means is that I'll be paying close attention to use of language, any outstanding words or phrases, and I'll be introducing the word of the day. And today's word of the day is willpower. Willpower means the control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. I've posted the word of the day in the chat along with an example and how it can be pronounced. I encourage everyone to increase their vocabulary by using the word throughout the meeting. And I'll be providing a report on the word of the day count and my observations at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Let us welcome now our audio, video, body language facilitator, who is Odan. Let us welcome Odan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Hello, everyone. My name is Hodan, and I will be the audio, video, and body language monitor for today's meeting. The purpose of this role is to provide insights and recommendations regarding your projection in an online setting. This includes posture, eye contact, facial and hand gestures, video and audio quality, and of course, camera positioning. Buddies is an online club, and thus, to ensure a successful delivery as a public speakers, it's important to mind how we portray ourselves through lenses. During the evaluation section of the meeting, I will be reporting my observation. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Odan. And with that, we are now moving to the first segment of our meeting, or today's meeting, which is the prepared speeches. Recall that we have 5 species. We have 5 evaluators, but recall that there is no verbal evaluation today. You, as an evaluator, are requested to send your evaluation form in the system or in the meantime to the speakers. With that, I'm calling our first speaker, who is our Buddhist Toastmaster President, Kanan, who have 7 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, 7 minutes to talk about the persuasive influence, level 5, demonstrating expertise, reflect on your path. Let us welcome Kanan for his speech. Kanan, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for introducing me, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. I have found that my journey for the last 2 months in the persuasive influence path definitely enhanced my learning skills. I want to share my experience in these paths so that you can understand what are the different projects that are available in this path. First, understanding conflict resolution project. This project helped me to understand new philosophy. Conflict resolution is a way for 2 or more parties to find a peaceful solution to a disagreement among them. Disagreement may be personal, may be financial, may be political, or even emotional. When a dispute arises, often the best course of action is to resolve the disagreement. This can happen even at the Toastmaster Club. We need to handle many situations effectively. You need to have the willpower to stay outside the disagreement and try to resolve that. There are 5 components of conflict resolution. They are avoiding, accommodating, competing, collaborating, and compromising. There are many books regarding this subject, and it's a very important subject for everyone, especially for new leaders, whoever is going to come next year. I also gave a speech on leading a voluntary organization and discussed the challenges in hosting a TLI. Even though everyone planned and worked very hard, simple mistakes or sudden things that may happen in the online TLI can make some of the members unhappy. In hosting an online TLI, there are many issues that can backfire. Technical issues, bandwidth issues. In case a presenter finished a speech early, the audience may be unhappy. I have the willpower to share a real incident in a TLI. We are all there to work as a volunteer, and we were hosting a TLI. The keynote speaker was supposed to speak for 45 minutes, and she was supposed to have 5 minutes question and answers. Because this was an online environment, everyone was muted. The speaker started speaking. The speaker thought there was no audience response, so she thought that people are not understanding. So she finished her speech early for 20 minutes. And then she asked for question answers. Question answers finished in 5 to 10 minutes. So we had 20 minutes. We do not know what to do. So we were putting some fillers in that made some of the members very unhappy. You said 15 minutes keynote speech, it was 30 minutes, and you are putting 20 minutes, whatever is the filler. They were not very happy. But this is an online TLI, and whatever, you remember the Murphy law? Anything can go wrong, will go wrong. I also spoke on another project about storytelling. I love the storytelling. This is about the hope. I gave a speech in an online contest, and unfortunately, I received only the second place. I could not move further, but I enjoyed the contest experience. I am also working as a club coach in one of the district club, and this is also online because of the pandemic. Leading in difficult situation project, I tried to work on that, and I helped them to counter some of the issues in the online Toastmasters. We hope that we attract more members, and this is similar to other club which lacks membership growth. I think some of the Toastmasters may be leading some other clubs, and they may understand the issue of the membership growth, which is a membership requirement, which is one of the pain points for many clubs. I did a high performance leadership project, how to run online contest. This project was planned for 4 months. I was in the committee for District 21 to document the contest material so that anybody in the online Toastmaster can take that script and take it forward. I was in the committee. We prepared the documentation, and we have finalized the documentation that we want to share it with all the online clubs. It is not an unrestricted club. It can be used by any online club, because there could be some challenges in running the contest. We made sure that those challenges could be overcome if we follow that. That was a project that I used for 4.5 months, and this gave me an opportunity to work with all the leaders in other districts. So overall, fellow Toastmasters, working with other clubs, working with other leaders, help us to learn a lot, understand their culture, what is good in their clubs, so that we can bring those best practices to our clubs and make buddies as more stronger club. And we want to improve. We have reached like this. This is like a graph. We are improving, and I want to reach ultimately the top of the goal. That is my goal, and I enjoyed my journey. I hope every one of you, please take the role, please give the speeches and enjoy your projects. Don't just give the speeches, enjoy your project so that you can become a great leader. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Kanan, for this inspirational and constructive speech about conflict resolution. You show us the way, many techniques and way to really face any disagreement that can arise in our life. Thank you so much. I recall that Mary is your evaluator, and undoubtedly Mary will send you her evaluation form.
Yep.
Let us now call our second speaker, who is Patrick, DTM. He will be presenting a thematic named Password to Better Communication under the presentation mastery level 5. Tracy is evaluator. Patrick, over to you. You have 12 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of today, fellow buddies, and welcome guests. Presentation mastery. It's one of the most common paths that many people will sign up for. They think that being able to give a speech, oh, presentation. Okay, I can give presentations. I've given speeches before, but the key word here is mastery. How to master a presentation. Now, don't be tricked into thinking that this path is an easy path. Some paths are easier than others, and some paths are more enjoyable than others. I certainly think that if you have the willpower, that this is a path that will definitely help you. certainly. But anyway, a passport. I believe a passport is very important these days. We don't use our passports very much anymore since the pandemic. We cannot travel very much. And I know from listening in previous meetings and speeches that Marina has said that she likes to travel and it's part of her job. And so certainly she has used her passport a lot in the past, and maybe some of you as well. But I'm not talking about that kind of passport. I'm talking about a passport that will bring us respect from our peers, from our co-workers, from our friends, even from our family members and our spouses. Now, communication, how to be a better communicator. It's more than just speaking. A very big part of communication is listening. The most important thing to remember in communication is to hear what isn't being said. And Peter Drucker, a very famous Austrian management consultant, he has given this quote, and it's so true. And it's so challenging to sometimes to know what other people, what are they thinking? What are they receiving my message? What are they thinking about my message? What are they thinking about me? So oftentimes you may have a very good message or an important message to give people. And if you have a communication problem with this person, if you have a personality problem with this person, it may make no difference in the world, no matter how important or how much value that your message that you can give them, if that person doesn't respect you, or if you don't respect each other. So that relationship between the speaker and the listener, the receiver, is very important. Do you want to travel? Do you want to speak off the cuff? How many times have you walked into a room and you see a person standing there and they are the center of attention? It seems like that they always find it so easy to connect with people. I think there are probably two reasons for that. One is their personality. They probably have a magnetic personality, charisma about them. I think many people think that you are born with that kind of personality, but I think that you can slowly grow into that kind of personality. You can grow into it, but it takes time and it takes mentoring. Do you always want to be prepared with a back pocket speech, as Cannon often encourages to do? Well, that's not easy. That comes with time, that comes with practice. And certainly if you have a good speech idea, maybe it's a speech that you've used in the past and you've received some good comments on it. Maybe you can take that speech and you can kind of reword it, rewrite it, kind of take a few snips away from it and rebuild the speech. And that can be one of your back pocket speeches, certainly. Practicing will help you improve your communication skills, improve your presentation mastery. But there are two things I've found on my journey in this path. For me, there are two very important things that will help me become a better communicator, a better presenter. And the first thing is to know your communication style. And in this path, you take a little quiz to find out what kind of communication style that you have. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. And second, and this is very important, is to be a better listener. And there is a project. There is a project in this path, and it is active listening. You take the role as a table topic master, and then you try to listen to what people are saying, and you try to make a bridge from one speaker to the next. Now, that's not necessarily easy. That can be challenging sometimes as well, too. Maybe somebody may freeze. You're the table topic master. Maybe somebody may freeze, or somebody is having difficulty answering the question. And what you can do is to engage the speaker. Now, many table topic masters don't realize that they can do that. They think, okay, ask the question, stand back, and let the person answer the question. Kind of sink or swim. But I challenge you to rethink the role of table topic master, because it's more than just that. You can engage the person. That shows your active listening skills by engaging the person if they are having difficulties. Now, what kind of communication style do I have? Goodness gracious. Now, I'll be quite honest with you. Maybe this is just let me use this expression. I don't know if you've heard it before. Maybe it is the beef in me. Maybe it is the beef in me. How I am. In what I say, that my communication style is direct. People can take me or they can leave me. Now, I realize that sometimes, yes, sometimes that can be an asset, but you really need to try to kind of taper that, try to control that at times. I will admit, especially if you are living outside of I'm from a native English speaking country. And if you come to Asia, I will tell you something. In Korea, in China, or Japan, I cannot speak about other continents other than Asia, but I can tell you this, that being direct is not necessarily appreciated. I find that if I have to go circumvent and indirectly try to, on a twisting road, try to communicate with people, I find that that is kind of like wasting my time. It's wasting their time. But I believe we can create a hybrid communication style. And I believe the initiating style. And the initiating style is a style that is, you're kind of listening to people, listening to their opinion, and you're engaging them, you're having a conversation with them. So for me, the results in this quiz in my path show that my first style is direct, my second style is initiating. So there is some hope left for me yet, I suppose. There is some hope. So now, what else did I enjoy about this path? And I really enjoyed the project of mentoring, because there's more in Toastmasters. People are sometimes afraid to mentor someone. Sometimes people are afraid to have a mentor. And I will be quite honest with you, from my experience with mentoring, I believe I always try to help my mentees, especially non-native English speakers, by proofreading, offering to proofread, by even reading their speeches. But not everybody likes to approach it that way. People feel pressured. And for the most part, and not just myself, but I find that the mentoring experience sometimes fizzles out. But I did enjoy this project. Body language, that's a tricky one, because standing up, ideally we should stand up, but it's not always easy because of some people's space may not permit them to move around when they're standing up on a Zoom meeting. So that's why you have to compensate more with your hand gestures and with your facial expressions. Persuasion, I think that was the most challenging one for me. That was a challenging project. You have to be organized and logical, and empathetic. Organized, logical, and empathetic. You have to listen to the other person. Managing difficult audiences, that was not so much of a challenge for me. I enjoyed that. The descent, turn the descent around and make it your strong point. Make it your strong point. Remember, a good communicator should have a relationship that starts with good listening skills and, I believe, empathy. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of today.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for this interesting and very, very well delivered speech about presentation mastery. We noticed that the keyword, how to master a presentation, and you advise us to not be stressed. We also notice your first communication style, which is direct. And I think that if we know each other's style, this will be better for us to know how to interact. Thank you so much for that. Let us now call our third speaker, who is Mary. Mary will present a speech under the Dynamic Leadership Level 1 called Mastering the Fundamental. She will be evaluated by on. So let us welcome Mary. Mary, over to you.
Good day, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so if I was to tell you that you could change your life in 5 minutes each day, 5 minutes would make you a happier, well-rounded, overall better well-being, what would your reaction be? Would you be skeptical? Well, I gotta tell you, I was skeptical. When I started reading about the practice of gratitude, gratitude is simply taking time out of your day to think about those things that are good in your life and say thank you. And scientists and writers tell us that people that have a gratitude practice have a long-term better quality of life of 10%, with a positive impact on their mental well-being, a positive impact on their physical well-being, and their social relationships. This seems totally unbelievable. Matter of fact, it almost sounds like pseudoscience. But what if I was wrong? What if it is real? So I decided to take on an experiment. And in this experiment, I was going to practice gratitude journaling for 2 months, 60 days. Each day, I opened my journal and I would turn to a page and record 3 things that I was grateful for. At the end of the day, I took a minute to reflect on the day. Was it a good day? Put a smiley face. Was it a bad day? I put a frown. Or maybe it was just a neutral day, which is not bad at all. That's a good thing. But something happened over those 2 months, which I really did not expect. I started noticing I felt better overall. I started noticing that I felt a little bit happier. It was not one of these things that happened overnight. You wake up one day and voila, life is good. No, it was gradual and it was very small increments. But there definitely was some positive changes. I felt better with my attitude. I felt a little bit better fitness. And I was actually enjoying being around people more. So this is really interesting and it is consistent with science. So let's take a look at each of these areas and see what we can learn. Okay, the first area was mental well-being. Writers and researchers tell us that those that participate in a daily journaling activity can increase their overall well-being, mental well-being, by 5 to 15%. Because this activates the reward center of our brain. It's up here, the reward center of our brain, sending positive messages to your body, telling them that you should be optimistic. And this optimism in turn makes you a little bit more energetic, makes you a little bit more creative, and overall creates a little bit more happiness. So the second area was physical well-being. In my case, I found that I was a little bit less likely to reach for that candy bar, And I really started to look forward to my daily walks. This surprised me, but again, it's very consistent with science. Science tells us that people that participate in a routine gratitude exercise 1.5 hours more per week than those that do not participate in gratitude practice. That's amazing. Now, the details associated with the physical benefits are a little bit long-winded and way too much for us here. But it has been demonstrated in recent studies that a daily gratitude practice has significant benefits for a practitioner. Less pain, less inflammation associated with cardiovascular problems, lower blood pressure, less mental illness, and better sleep. Now, how can you do without that? All for 5 minutes a day. So the third area that I wanted to share with you was the social area. So in my case, I found that I tend to be a little bit shy. So I found that it was a lot easier for me to start to talk to people. I found that my home situation was just a little bit nicer and a little bit gentler. I found that I was more likely to smile at people when I passed them on the street. And this is very consistent with overall findings related to gratitude. As you become more optimistic, more positive, more confident, you're more likely to talk to people in a positive way. People will perceive you as being more likable. And when people perceive you as likable, it sets up a wonderful cycle of positive social interactions. So, mental well-being, physical fitness, and social interactions, all in 5 minutes a day. I guess it's true that you can be a happier person in 5 minutes. Now, I'd like to share with you a quote by Brother David Steindl Ross, who's a leading writer in this area. And he says, it's not happiness that brings us great gratitude. It's gratefulness that brings us happiness. I love that. That is a wonderful quote. So are you still skeptical? I have an experiment for you to try. Pick up a rock. Any rock will do. This is mine. Little black shiny rock. Stick it in your pocket. When you stick it in your pocket through the course of the day, you're going to notice it. Maybe when you sit down, it's going to be a little bit of a pinch. Maybe when you're jangling for change in your pocket, you'll feel it. Use that as a trigger, a reminder to take a step back, reflect on one thing that you have to be grateful for. I, for one, am very grateful this presentation is over. Thank you, and back to you, Claude.
Thank you so much, Mary, for this insightful speech. Let us now welcome Marina, our fourth speaker, who will present the right doing. This is the title of her speech, under the Innovative Planning Level 1, Mastering Fundamentals and Feedback. Raga is her evaluator. Let us welcome Mary. Mary, over to you.
Mr. Tyler, just before you begin timing me, just before you begin timing me, Mr. Toastmaster, I'm actually doing engaging humor. That's my pathway, and this is my iPad. You can start timing, please, hon. Are you a 5-year or a 10-year planner? Is your life mapped out to the nth degree? And then what happens if suddenly you're thrown a curved ball and all your best laid plans are put into chaos? Well, I don't know, because I'm not like that. The trajectory of my life has largely been governed by random conversations and opportunities which have somehow just landed at my doorstep. I never had grandiose plans for the future, and there was never the surfacing of any frantic or brilliant business acumen as displayed by so many young people today. In fact, when I was about 10 years old, my mother decided that she was going to take my sister and we were going to move out of the bustle and potential stimulus of town and we were going to move into the countryside. And that's exactly what we did. We moved 20 kilometers out of town to the beautiful eastern highlands of Rhodesia, to a beautiful mountainous area called the Vumba. And we spent several very happy years in this area before we relocated once again. And this time we were 30 kilometers out of the capital city, Salisbury, and we ended up in a large farming area. So my early years as a young girl were very countrified, very simple and very happy. So any future plans for 5 or 10 years was not even a mirage on my horizon. In fact, there wasn't even a tablespoon of soil in my mind in which any plan would actually take root and grow. Television only arrived in our family when I was about 14, and it was a simple little black and white TV set. TV programs in those years only began at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they probably had a cut-off time in the evening, but I was long in bed before then. My favorite programs were Lassie, How Green Is My Valley, and Little House on the Prairie. So my world was never going to become terribly complicated, and I was never going to become worldly wise through my exposure to television. As you've probably gathered from those titles, I like watching programs that were all about people living on farms, exactly the same as me. School also didn't help in the future planning department, but English literature opened my eyes and my mind to a whole new world through the set books which I had to study. Shakespeare's Shylock in The Merchant of Venice fascinated me with his greedy, vengeful, and jealous attitude on life. Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night was a play about a completely dysfunctional family with a morphine-addicted mother, and it fascinated me for years. And then, of course, Thomas Hardy's classic, Tess of the D'Urberville, opened my eyes to the magic and the beauty of the English countryside. But at the same time, it taught me about the hardships and the tribulations of the working class folk in the 1800s. Art. Oh, how I loved art at school, my favorite subject. But luckily, early on, I realized that the greats like Monet and Van Gogh died as absolute paupers. Sure, their paintings eventually sold millions and millions, but that was decades after they had died. And I thought to myself, what's the point of that? My life was already so simple. I had no intention of it becoming any simpler by trying to become a struggling artist. So here I was, reaching the end of my years at school with no idea in which direction I was going to go when I eventually had to leave. So my dear mother came to me and she said, Marina, why don't you go to secretarial college? Go for a year and you will learn how to type, do shorthand and accountancy. So I thought, oh, what a good idea. And off I happily went to college to learn those very skills. And they're skills which I actually still use to this day. But even as I was learning how to type, do shorthand and accountancy, I thought to myself, what am I going to do with all of this when I have to leave the college at the end of the year? And that's when the first of life's many opportunities came bowling in through my. I was having a chance conversation with a classmate from college, and she had been for a job interview with a gentleman in town who had a jewelry shop and he had a workshop. And he was looking for a young person to join him in the workshop to begin a goldsmith apprenticeship. So she came to me and she said, hey, Marina, you're artistic. This might be something you would enjoy. Why don't you go and speak to him as well? And then maybe he'll employ us both and we can work together in the workshop. Oh, I thought, wow, what a wonderful idea. I didn't have any other plans as usual. So off I went to see this man. I got the job. She didn't. So immediately I thought, well, clearly there's a life lesson to be learned in our situation. Anyhow, I began my 4-year goldsmith apprenticeship. But after only 1 year, the workshop and the shop closed. And I found it was very difficult to continue with my apprenticeship in Salisbury at the time. So I formulated a plan. It wasn't earth-shattering and it didn't stretch 20 years into the future, but it was a plan. I decided I was going to move from Rhodesia down to South Africa, and I was going to finish my goldsmith apprenticeship properly in South Africa. And sure enough, a few months later, off I set for horizons unknown, and thus began the next chapter of my life. It's many years later as I stand before you now, and as I look back on the direction which my life has taken over the years, I realize that my lack of planning and the fact that I did not set clear-cut goals was my biggest asset. It put me open, wide open for the opportunities which life was going to bring me. And it set me on an incredible journey, a journey which I could never, ever have planned or envisaged for myself. And I realized that all I have to do is keep my feet firmly on the deck, hoist up my sail, open my sails and fill them with the glorious winds of life, because I know that I will always reach the shore. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Marina, for this wonderful speech. Now, our last speaker is Lucille. Can you hear me? Lucille will be speaking and presenting her favorite leadership style under the leadership development level 2, learning your style, understand your leadership style. She will be evaluated by Zaidi. Lucille, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Dear guests, do you hear me? My favorite leadership style. Today, I'm going to share my favorite leadership style under my project Leadership Development Level 2, entitled Understanding My Leadership Style. I discovered that there is many styles of leadership, and I'm sure you have one favorite or more. I'm going to share different types of leadership styles, and by the end of my speech, I will be showing my favorite styles. Fellow members, dear guests, effective leaders accomplish personal goals and contribute to the successful completion. The essential quality of an effective leader are essential communication, higher level of personal integrity, open-minded, optimistic, and leading by example. I discovered that there is many styles of leadership. The first one that's challenging me a lot is autocratic leadership. It is a style that is centered on the boss. In this leadership style, the leader holds all authority and responsibility. In this leadership, leaders make decisions on their own without consulting subordinates. The second one is democratic leadership. In this leadership style, subordinates are involved in making decisions. Unlike with autocratic leadership, this leadership is centered on subordinates' contribution. The democratic leader holds final responsibility, but is known to delegate authority to other people who determine work projects. Strategic leadership style is one that involves a leader who is essentially the head of an organization. I discovered another one, transformational leadership. Unlike other leadership styles, transformational leadership is all about initiating change in organization, groups. And I noticed that in international non-organizational or NGOs, we have to use it. The team leadership. Team leadership involves the creation of a vivid picture of team future. where it is heading, and what it will stand for, like our Buddies Club. The vision inspire and provide a strong sense of purpose and direction. There is another leadership style called cross-cultural leadership. This form of leadership normally exists where there are various cultures in the society. In the international NGO where I work, for example, there is cross-cultural leadership because we recognize that there is staff coming from different areas. There is also facilitative leadership. This leadership is dependent on measurement and outcome, and you use to utilize this leadership in training and presentation, particularly for adult learning. Laissez-faire leadership is the leadership that gives authority to employees. Department or subordinates are allowed to work as they choose with minimum or no interference. According to research, this kind of leadership has been consistently found to be the less satisfying and least effective management style. The transactional leadership is the style that maintains the status quo. There is another leadership we use a lot as manager, coaching leadership. It involves teaching and supervising others, and we can see it in football. And when you are managing your staff. It requires highly operational in setting where result performance requires improvement. We can also have charismatic leadership. In this type of leadership, the charismatic leader manifests his revolutionary power. And I can share you an example from my country, Thomas Sankara, a previous president in our country. Visionary leadership. This form of leadership involves leaders who recognize that methods, steps, and process of leadership are all obtained with a full pupil. For example, Martin Luther King, Mandela is an example. But what is my favorite leadership style? I noticed that, for example, democratic leadership is really presents some advantages and results. Strategic leadership also, team leadership, coaching, and visionary leadership. But what challenged me a lot is the autocratic leadership. I presume that this kind of leadership has some disadvantages, but by the end, I noticed that the advantages is with time spent and where we can have more consistent results. By the end of this pathway, my lesson to take away is just to know the balance between the advantage and the disadvantage of the leadership styles. And if you use efficiently these different leadership styles, I'm sure that it is the best way to become really the leader we do expect to become in our life. My willpower to become a bigger leadership in my professional area conducted me to know a lot about this different style. And my word is the situational leadership. For me, it is my own words I created. For me, depending the situation, you need to apply the right leadership style. Depending the context, you need to use that efficiently. Thank you for your attention. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lucille, for this wonderful speech that gave us the various leadership style, and also by showing that you have a strong willpower to move ahead with your favorite leadership style. With that, I would like to request time to vote for your favorite speaker, and with the help of Nicholas. Nicholas, please, can you, thank you. Everyone, please select your favorite. So while we are voting, I would like to elaborate a little bit on our theme of the day, which is about self-discipline and success. To let you know that success is predictable. Success is not an accident. Sadly, failure is not an accident either. You succeed when you do what other successful people do over and over until these behaviors became a habit. Likewise, you fail if you don't do what successful people do. In either case, nature is neutral. Nature does not take sides. Nature doesn't care. What happened to you is simply a matter of law, the law of cause and effect. With that, we are moving now to the next segment of our meeting, today's meeting. It is about the table topic session. I will call in Nicole, our Education Vice President, to lead this session. Thank you for coming. Not Nicole, but Dennis, please. I'm confusing with the two.
Thank you, Claude. Don't worry about it. It seems to happen more often than not. Okay, so as you all know, this is a speech-a-thon, and we don't usually do table topics, but we actually used to. Jing, our past VP of Education, had implemented what she called a round-robin session. It's a shorter, quick-paced table topic session that allows the opportunity for our members and our guests to speak. How is it different? So I'm going to be making just one question, and everyone will have to answer that specific question. Now, the timings are going to be different. If you are speaking for 30 seconds answering that question, you're good to go. But you can still talk until 1 minute, and our timer would be giving a signal for amber or yellow. Or you could even go as far as 1.5 minutes, and that would be a red. So let's try to do this. We might have a chance to cover about 5 or 6 people. So what do you say? Who wants to start? Any volunteers?
I can try.
Go ahead, Bruce. Your
So
question, yes, your question is, what do you want most in the world? Go ahead.
I think we live, for purpose. And most of people, they are living, they are working, they are playing, only one goal, just the theme, happiness. And for me, happiness is my purpose of my life. And I just want to be happy all the time. And I just want to get what I want. And I just live a life that, I like to live. Then I think on the way, of course, we need to sacrifice and we need to fight. We need to work hard to achieve that goal. Then, just somehow, that's it. Happiness is my goal in this life.
Thank you, Bruce. Next, we have Sadie. Sadie, take your shot at the question. What do you want most in the world?
I think that as I have gotten older, this year I had a milestone birthday and I turned 40. I think that has changed. And I think what I want most in the world is connection. I want to feel present with the people that I love. I want to be able to give quality time to the people that are around me. My parents are aging. I won't have them here forever. So that connection, to give to them those memorable moments, have my son spend time with them, for them to build memories, be present for my child, no matter how busy I am with work, trying to provide a living for him. I think that emotional connection and just being present at times is more meaningful. And in the end, you will arrive to happiness by having that beautiful connection. So thank you. Back to you, Denise.
Thank you, Sadie. Great speech. Raghav, your shot at the question. What do you want most in the world?
Thanks, Denise. So I was thinking about happiness and then connection. So no, all those are already taken. So I'll go with love. So I think with all these three, the joining knot would be love. You always need to have a lot of love. And now with Corona around, we are always behind screens. So you don't even realize who you're talking to. So it's so difficult to connect with people. And it's a lot of people are now actually very eager and looking out for love. So this is the right time to show and share, connect with people, spread love, and as much as you can, because in the end, the only thing that matters is you do what makes you happy and you show love to others and help them to do what makes them happy. So with that, I would like to hand it back to Denise. Great question.
Thank you, Raghav. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, Madame, take your shot at the question. What do you want most in the world?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for giving me the opportunities to speak. So I am a graduate student studying in a foreign country. So with this pandemic, traveling back home has made it really difficult. So the thing that I would want the most is, to make this pandemic vanish as soon as possible, so that I could, go back home safely and spend some time with my family. Yeah, so that is what I would want the most. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Madame. We love it. Okay, Tracy, take it over. What do you want the most in the world?
I'd like to see more kindness and care in the world. Having a daughter, and once being a child myself, I experience and see children from their little go through things like bullying or just not being nice to each other. It's what they're taught or maybe not taught to survive in their environment, but it starts from being small and then it grows to us being older. And I see that sometimes people are treated because of their class or maybe their color or maybe just because they're a little less confident in themselves, that they're not, the kindness and care can be more equal and across the board. I feel that if we show more kindness and care, we would have a better world. Then that's where love and happiness would come in, and we would have less hurting of people, less killing, less, because all of these things can stem from growing up not being shown kindness, and in turn it turns into hurting people because one was hurt. So those are two things that I would like to see more, because then I think we would have a better world overall. Back to you, Denise.
Thank you, Tracy. That was beautiful. Last but not least, we have Claude. What do you want most in the world? Claude.
Thank you so much, Denise. I would like to see more solidarity in the world right now. The context of the COVID-19 recall us that there are many differences, and I'm seeing that a lack of willpower from the developed countries to share vaccines with developing countries. And this is, so far, most of the developing countries have not yet access to vaccine. In the meantime, for instance, in the USA, they are about to vaccinate more than 200 million people. It is likewise in Europe, in China, so on and so on. So I would like to see more solidarity, because this pandemic, it's not limited in one country, it is spreading in all over the world. So it doesn't make sense to have one part of the world that is kept safe and the other part is left behind. That's why I would like to see more solidarity in the world. Back to you, Dennis.
Thank you, Claude. I agree. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I hope you enjoyed it. Back to Toastmaster of the Day. Take it over, Claude.
Thank you so much, Denis, for this wonderful topic session. I will ask, yeah, Nicholas is already there. So please vote your favorite, vote for your favorite topic speaker, please. With that, we are moving to our last segment of today's meeting, which is the evaluation. Do we have a general evaluator, Dennis, please?
It's Bruce.
It's Ragav, actually.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Ragav, can you take the floor for the evaluation section? Knowing that we don't have verbal evaluation for prepared speech, I think that we just need to call in our facilitator to recap, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I just came to know I am the general evaluator of the day.
Maybe I can do it.
But that's okay. So okay, Bruce, if you want, you can take over. Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know, someone signed me up as general evaluator on the agenda. And also I report, I prepared a report. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I think there was a confusion because there was a gap in who was taking what roles. And there was discussion at the beginning of the meeting before some of the people were in the meeting on who to assign that role. And that's where there's confusion.
Yeah, the role was originally assigned to Gus, but since he had to back out because of some issues, that's why the role was suddenly blank.
Oh, okay, but I don't know. And if you have the report, you can, take it and continue proceed. And if you don't have, I can, because I made some notes here.
It's okay. Go ahead, Bruce.
Okay. Oh, what a wonderful meeting. Even though, we had only a few table topics, but it's still amazing. Today, I think our guests were really well introduced because we took another 2 minutes to introduce the guests. And actually, we started a little bit late today for the meeting. But the meeting rules were laid down properly and clearly by our student at arms. And as our Toastmaster of the Day, Claude, whoa, well done. And you explained the theme very beautifully. I have to say beautifully, and you give the explanation and you referenced some quotes to support your points. And also you made some very beautiful transition between each section, like table topics and a general evaluation. Yeah, you made some very good transition. But I just want to say, maybe next time if you take a Toastmaster of the Day, maybe you can also introduce how the meeting goes, like how many sections we have in this meeting, so the guests will not be confused. That's the only part I can mention, yeah. And as our facilitators, a timer, maybe you can just present us the report now.
Yeah, okay, sure, Bruce. Okay, so the prepared speeches, we had 5 of them. The first one was Kanan, and he was at 6 minutes and 39 seconds. Patrick had a speech that was supposed to be between 10 minutes and 12 minutes, so he did 11 minutes and 28 seconds. Mary had a speech that was 6 minutes and 29 seconds. Marina's speech was 7 minutes and 33. And Lucille was 7 minutes and 9 seconds. And then on to the table topics, the round robin. We had Bruce at 44 seconds. We had Zaidi at 1 minute and 2 seconds. Raghav was 52 seconds, and Madan was 37 seconds, and Tracy was 1 minute and 23 seconds. And finally, cloud was 1 minute and 16 seconds. Thank you very much. And back to you, Bruce.
Thank you very much, our timer, Han. And you did also very good, I mean, all the facilitators, and you gave a very brief and clear introduction about your role. Thank you very much, timer. And next, I will invite our accountant, Karen, to present her report. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. Thank you very much. This is Karen. I can't share screen, so I'm just going to read what I came up with. First of all, I'd like to say this is not an easy role. I took it because I said I could slam dunk this, and it is not. I enjoyed every single one of the speeches. I hope I wasn't overcritical in any of this. I thought everyone did a wonderful job. Kanan, I heard 2 extended pauses, and that was it. Patrick, I got 1 extended pause, 3 uhs, might have been ums, I don't know, or ums, and 1 and. Mary, I had 2 so's and 1 extended pause. Marina, I had 1 so, and Lucille, 1 extended pause. And I thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Yeah, it is not easy, for being a counter, because you have to count and also distinguish which should be counted. Thank you very much for the report. And then now let's welcome our grammarian, Nico. Nico, please come forward.
Hey everyone. So the word of the day today was willpower, and today's word of the day was used 3 times throughout the meeting. As the grammarian, just for future meetings, I would like to encourage everyone to use the word of the day during their speeches, even if you're just doing a facilitator role. It'll help you think on your feet. And I know that sometimes we prepare speeches and we don't want to deviate too much, but using the word of the day during your speech, even if it's a prepared speech, will help your vocabulary grow. And then regarding the prepared speeches, Kanan, I liked that you gave a definition for disagreement, for dispute. Patrick, I really liked the phrase that you use, magnetic personality, which is when people just feel attracted to you naturally. Mary, I liked that you said the phrase positive impact. Instead of saying improvement, just positive impact. And I like that you asked yourself, what if I was wrong? I like that you introduced that into your speech. Marina, I was very happy that you used the word clear-cut goals and not just goals, because a lot of the times people use these very vague goals and they have no idea how to achieve them. When you say clear-cut, is very specific as to what you want to do, and I loved your sailing metaphor. And Lucille, while you're speaking, I liked that you introduced the word complex within your theme. I thought that it went really well with what you were talking about. So overall, the pronunciation for today's meeting was very good. Thank you very much, everyone. And I would just once again like to encourage everyone to use the word of the day for future meetings. Just challenge yourself to do that. Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Nico, for your report. Now we have a very important role in the meeting is body language monitor. So at the same time, I also encourage all of you to turn on your camera. Don't turn it off throughout the meeting. At least we can see you. Okay. Now let's welcome our body language monitor, Hondan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's correct. Thank you, Bruce Lee. Bruce, you. And before I give my report, I just want to say I'm glad that Karen said the roles sound very easy, but they are not. I just felt it was my first time. It was my willpower to give a try a role, and I took this one today. And I could say it just felt that I did not get any break the whole video, but I'm glad that I did. Thank you very much. And now I will give my report, which I will be reading from my notebook. What I in our prepared speech section, what I found out in the body language, Kanan, is the camera. The camera, he was sitting very well centered the camera, and the lighting was perfect. He was using the hand gestures very well. When, for example, when he say with 5, he just showed his 5 fingers, which was very great. And facial gestures, it was really good to see. For example, when he say he laughs, when you say, Karen, I love storytelling, you just smile and your whole face lighten it up, which was a really great way to show the emotions. And everything else was very great. You had a great eye contact. And yes, what else did I wrote? And one thing that I would say I wish to see more would be seeing you are using your hands very well, as I said, but the camera was almost in your upper, your whole upper part was not showing, which I could not see. Like, for example, your elbows, which I will say will give a more depth for when it comes the hand gestures. And when it comes, yeah, that was for Kanan and Patrick. Patrick was also had a very great way of sitting before the camera, and the lighting was perfect. He had a great eye contact too. And yes, Patrick had a very natural hand gestures. And one thing that I really love, that I love to mention, is that when you say, do you love traveling, you lean forward to the camera, which really shows that you were engaging with us. And yes, you did one more too. Yeah, when you said the beef in me, you lean it forward too in that time, which was really great. As I said, it shows more engaging with the audience. And yeah, apart from that, everything was very great. When it comes, Mary, yes, one more, yes. Yes, you, Mary, you were very great too in eye contact. Your camera was very great. You were sitting before the camera very well. It was in the center, the lighting was perfect. And yeah, when you say 5 minutes, you showed your 5 fingers too, and you had a few poses, which was very great. For example, when you said, what if I was wrong, you paused it later, which give us the thinking that you asked it as a question. And you showed, another thing was that you showed your journal, which and even the emojis on the journal, which really gives a more depth what you were saying. And you smiled and you had a lot of open palms, which was yes, twice open palms, which was very welcoming. And when it comes, Marina, to start with, it was really great to be standing. That's something that the audience, I would say, especially in the digital world, we find it very interesting when someone is standing, because we could see the person and more body language. And you started with 5, 10 goals that you mentioned, and you showed 5 fingers and 10 fingers, which was really great. And your camera was perfect, lighting was perfect. And yeah, you had a really great eye contact too. And you leaned forward Yes, one time, and when you said the TV, you draw on your hand, which was very great, and that's something that I would say it was because you were standing. We get to see you as a whole in your hands, and you were full of energy. For example, when you say I love art, especially you, it shows your whole energy was out and was coming to us, and you had a lot of pauses too. Your posture was very great, and yeah, lastly, yes, Lucille, if I hope I'm pronouncing right, you had a very great. The camera was very great. The lighting was perfect, and your posture too, and you were using your hands very well. The gestures was very good, and you had a lot of pauses too, which was a really great, and open palms a lot of times, and you had also more energy. Like when you say to become a leadership, it shows on you that you really want, and it's something that you are passionate about in your face and your facial expressions. And you showed a strong fist. I think it was 2 times. It was really great. And lastly, something that I wish to see more is using your both hands equally. It felt like you were using one hand a lot more than the others. And one last thing that applies all of the prepared speakers is to look more at the camera lens, which is very good. It shows that you are engaging with us, and to have the camera level down almost in your, maybe it's just a recommendation, almost maybe in your waist level, so we could see your hands. Today I'm not doing a speech, so that's why I'm sitting like this, but uh, I will be having my camera on my waist level another time. And when it comes the tribal topic group, who was Bruce, Sadie, Raghav, Madan, Tracy, and Cloud, all had a perfect camera lighting, and they were in the center of their camera, were center sitting. They were sitting on the center when it comes to the camera positioning, and everyone have a great body language. So that would be my report regarding body language and everything else. Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you very much, and then for your very specific and detailed report for your role. Now, I think, I have to say today, I think everyone has done a very good job. And I can see because I've been here for quite a long time, and I can see all of you's performance, it's getting better and better. And I think you can also feel that, yourself, like Han, Lucio, everyone, yeah, I can see the confidence in you. So practice makes perfect. And I hope I can see you practice more and grab opportunities. And I also want to mention the election. And if you want to improve, even further, take a role, right? Take a role. Believe in yourself and take a role. And you will never regret for making this decision, okay? And I also want to mention our table topic master. Wow, I think today you made the right choice, because we were actually out of time, and you made round robin, so everyone answered the same question, but we can see different views from the same question from different participants, and that's very good. And we can also understand each participant's personality from the question. That's very good. And I hope, in the future, we can do more of this, so we can give more opportunities to members to practice impromptu speaking. But overall, and wow, it was amazing. I like it. And I like seeing you performing. Beautiful and graceful. And with that, I will just turn control to our president, because we are running out of time. At the same time, please choose the best facilitator for today's meeting.
So our president had to leave.
Okay, then Denise.
But we would pass it over to Claude as the Toastmaster of the day for the closing, and then you can pass to me.
Okay, Claude, please come. Take it
Thank
over.
you so much, Bree. You perfectly took the challenge to be the general evaluator in an impromptu way, and you did really well. I like your suggestion of giving the meeting outline at the beginning of the meeting so that guests could follow us well. We just complete the poll for this segment. As a closing remark, I would like to come back again to our theme of the day, that is about self-discipline and success. I would like to share a few takeaways. The Greek oil mine named Ant, who was at the richest self-made billionaire in the world, was one asked by the TV journalist for his secrets of success. He replied, there are only 3 requirements for success. First, decide exactly what it is you want in life. Second, determine the price that you are going to have to pay to get things you want. And third, and this is the most important, resolve to pay that price. With that, I am done. Thank you for this great meeting. Back to you, Denise, as you replace Kanan, and my role is over. Thank you, everyone, for being very participative and cooperative.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Claude, for an excellent job as Toastmaster of the Day. I look forward to seeing more of you as the Toastmaster of the Day. Okay, so thank you, everyone, our members and guests, for coming. Just as a reminder, we meet every Saturday at 1 p.m. UTC in this same room, and our past code is buddies. So next, I will be showing and sharing with you the poll results. Who's our favorite speakers for this meeting? As you all know, feedback is very important, and we love to learn from the best. So our best speaker today is Marina. Congratulations, Marina. How do you feel about it?
Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you very much, Denise. I must tell you, this is the quickest speech that I've ever written, and I could not wait to give it. So everything was just ticking all the right boxes for me, and I loved the presentation, and thank you all for taking the time to listen to me as well, and for the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. You were glowing. Okay, our best table topic speaker is Sadie. Sadie, how do you feel about that?
It feels great. Every single time that I get the opportunity to share a little bit of myself, I get to make more of a connection with all of you. So I'm really looking forward to this journey. So thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Sadie. We love to have you here, open and willing to connect with all of us. Next, we have our best facilitator, and guess who it is? Claude. Excellent work. How do you feel about that?
I'm really thankful to all of you. I'm trying to get more confidence by taking a role as suggested by Bruce, always by Kanan, and by all of you. And I had the opportunity to chat with a guy who sent me an encouraging word saying that I am seeing confidence in you, and me too. I'm confident. I'm getting that confidence, and thank you for your encouragement. I will keep performing by taking role. Thank you.
It's very lovely to hear that. See that everyone is growing, and especially in confidence. Toastmasters really tries to be good on that. So that's great to hear. Okay, so I will be asking for some of our guests' feedback, and then I will go to announcements before closing the meeting real quick. Does anyone want to come forth and share their insights? Madan, would you like to share?
Yes, I felt the meeting was really good. I it was a great meeting, and I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. This is part of it. The fact that you chose to speak is already a huge step. So that was good. Does anyone else want to share? Ahmed, perhaps Lena G?
All right. First of all, thank you all. Actually, this is the first time that I'm attending Toastmasters ever. So it's great to see you all here collaborating and learning from each other. And it is nice to see people from all around the globe gathering and meeting up for an hour and a half in here. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to hear all of you and be part of this. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed. Lena, would you like to share?
Well, it's my second time to join this kind of club. I'm not so familiar with the process. Sorry, but I'm happy to join you tonight. I think the club is good. I want to learn more from you in the future. Thanks. That's all.
Thank you, Lena. We'd love to see more of all of our guests here in Buddies. Remember, we meet every Saturday at 1 p.m. UTC. Okay, so now for announcements, real quick. Next meeting, we are gonna have a challenge. This is a challenge for everyone, okay? So there are clubs in Toastmasters that are putting together a new format for a contest, a webinar format. And they are calling out for clubs to participate. So this is a new thing, and it's kind of exploring how far we could go with Toastmasters, and that's where the webinar contest comes in. So we're gonna host a small challenge next meeting. You can prepare a small webinar, 3 to 5 minutes. It cannot go over 5 minutes, and it cannot be below 3 minutes. It has to be between those two parameters only. And yeah, we're just gonna have that really friendly challenge between ourselves, and we will all get to vote on which we liked better. We will be posting details on Slack and also in our website. Other than that, I think we're good to go. So thank you all for coming to this meeting. Thank you all for making this meeting another great one to have. Meeting adjourned. Nicholas, you can stop the recording.